Before Russia had railways connecting its cities, before telegraphs crossed its frozen plains, it had a problem. A massive empire with millions of people and absolutely no reliable way to pay for a letter. That all changed with one small piece of paper in 1857. Welcome to Stamp Vault. Today we are cracking open the vault on Russia's very first postage stamp. And trust me, the story behind it is as bold as the empire itself. By the mid-19th century, the Russian Empire's postal network stretched across a staggering 90,000 kilometers of relay routes. It was a massive web of horse-drawn carriages and remote stations, but it was desperately slow and wildly inconsistent. Sending a letter across multiple time zones meant paying in cash at every local post office along the way. This manual system invited corruption, lost mail, and constant delays. Meanwhile, across Western Europe, a revolutionary concept was taking hold: the adhesive postage stamp, which shifted the cost of mailing from the receiver to the sender. To solve this mounting communication crisis, the Imperial Postal Department turned to Alexei Charukovsky, the head of post-rail transportation. In 1851, Charukovsky was sent on an ambitious mission to study these new postal systems. His year-long travels were an exhaustive study of European innovation, taking him through England, France, Belgium, the Netherlands, Italy, Austria, Switzerland, and Germany. He returned to St. Petersburg in 1852 with a folder full of sketches, foreign stamps, and a blueprint to completely overhaul Russia's mail. But just as the gears of reform began to turn, history intervened. The outbreak of the Crimean War in 1853 drained the imperial treasury and redirected the state's resources toward the battlefield, putting civil projects on hold. This devastating conflict postponed the stamp's debut for years, but it also proved that a vast empire could no longer govern itself without a modern, unified way to communicate. In 1856, Charukovsky submitted his formal proposal on the introduction of adhesive stamps for common use. Hidden within his blueprint was a highly specific, quirky recommendation: Russia's first stamp should be completely round. This circular design was not an aesthetic whim, it was a practical solution to a mundane physical problem. Charukovsky worried that if a sender pasted a traditional rectangular stamp carelessly, its sharp corners would stick out. As the letter slipped into a postbox or rubbed against other mail in transit, those exposed corners would easily catch on the wooden slots or neighboring envelopes. The friction would peel the stamp clean off. Without its proof of payment, the letter would be flagged and returned, clogging the gears of the entire system. A circular stamp had no corners to catch and no edges to snag. This obsessive focus on paper corners shows how deeply reformers had to think about everyday handling. To modernize an empire's mail, they had to master the smallest physical details of paper and glue. The task of translating this administrative ambition into a physical reality fell to Franz Michael Kepler, known in Russia as Fedor Kepler. A senior engraver at the State Papers Expedition and a graduate of the St. Petersburg Academy of Arts, Kepler bypassed the circular design debate entirely. Instead, he crafted an elegant rectangular medallion composition that turned a simple receipt of payment into a miniature monument of state power. At the heart of Kepler's 1856 master design sits a white oval medallion bearing the double-headed imperial eagle, flanked by two crossed post horns and draped beneath the imperial mantle and crown. This was no casual choice of decoration. The double-headed eagle carried a profound historical weight, tracing its lineage back to the 15th century when Grand Duke Ivan III adopted the symbol following his marriage to the Byzantine princess Sophia Paleolog. By placing this ancient emblem on the stamp, Kepler linked the modern postal service directly to the Byzantine heritage and the historic claim of Moscow as the Third Rome. The two heads of the eagle represented more than just geographical reach, they symbolized the harmonious union of East and West, and the sacred bond between church and state. Every letter sent across the empire would now carry this concentrated statement of absolute Tsarist authority. Through Kepler's precise engraving, a tiny piece of paper became a highly visible instrument of imperial unity, carrying the heavy symbolism of the crown into the everyday hands of ordinary citizens. To turn Kepler's design into a physical object, the State Papers expedition had to solve a complex security problem. Every stamp was a tiny government bond, vulnerable to forgery if printed carelessly. The printers chose a two-color typographic process, using a brown pigment for the detailed background frame and a vibrant blue for the central eagle and mantle. This too-cliché method required running each sheet of paper through the press twice. Any misalignment would ruin the sheet, but the contrasting pigments made visual inspection instant and forged copies incredibly difficult to execute. The paper itself was a defensive barrier. The state commissioned white handmade paper of varying thickness, ranging from 0.08 to 0.11 millimeters. Before the sheets ever met the printing press, workers pressed a faint watermark of the numeral 1 into the wet paper fibers. Visible only when held up to the light, this watermark served as the ultimate proof of authenticity, distinguishing the genuine imperial issue from crude counterfeits. Finally, the sheets of 100 stamps left the printing house completely imperforate. The technology to punch neat rows of holes did not yet exist in the imperial workshops, meaning post office clerks and mail senders had to use scissors or brass rulers to slice each stamp from the sheet by hand. Today, philatelists look for these slightly uneven, hand-cut margins and study the texture of the handmade fibers. These small tactile imperfections are the direct physical evidence of a massive empire securing its first mass-produced piece of state paper. On December 10, 1857, the Imperial Postal Department put the new stamps on sale to the public. This began a brief transition period leading to January 1, 1858, the official date when stamps became mandatory for private domestic letters. Yet, distributing these tiny slips of paper across a massive territory immediately exposed severe administrative limits. Delivery was highly uneven. Remote provincial offices received almost nothing but the basic 10 kopeck stamp. The higher 20 kopeck and 30 kopeck denominations remained strictly reserved for St. Petersburg and other major cities. Meanwhile, Moscow went without a single stamp during that first December. A bitter bureaucratic dispute erupted between the Moscow postmaster and the Central Postal Department, halting the rollout and forcing the empire's second city to wait until the new year to post its first stamped letter. The introduction of the 10 kopeck stamp changed the daily routine of sending mail across Russia. This single stamp prepaid a domestic letter weighing up to 1 lot, an old Russian unit of weight equal to about 12.8 grams. In practical terms, this allowed citizens to send roughly 3 sheets of paper in a standard envelope. Senders no longer had to endure complex cash calculations at local counters. Postage became simple, uniform, and predictable. For an empire stretching across 2 continents, this tiny piece of paper served as a tool of administrative unity, binding distant provinces to the capital. Today, this historic issue holds legendary status among collectors, representing the very dawn of Russian philately. Subscribe to explore more hidden stories from history. Today, instant digital networks span the globe, but this tiny, imperforate relic reminds us how modern connectivity truly began. A vast empire was united not by force, but by a single stamp. Subscribe to Stamp Vault for more deep dives into history's greatest treasures.